You're trying to get into the NFL, you're trying to break in, but you're also realistic and looking at other opportunities. I read that you had an interview to sell dental equipment.
Yeah, it was with a dental equipment company, Patterson Dental, and I don't know if I was actually going to be selling, but that was probably what I would have liked to get into eventually, because I'm more of a salesman than being an IT or something like that. So I don't know exactly what the specific job was going to be, but I know it was a good company and I had kind of an in with them, so I knew I needed to have a backup plan just in case something happened.
But at every interview, they always ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what are your goals? What's your passion? What'd you tell them?
Yeah, that was the best part about the interview is when the guy asked me, he said, if you could, have your dream job, what would it be? And I said, it'd be playing in the NFL. And we both kind of laughed, like, oh yeah, right. That won't happen, so here you are. And then ended up happening. So it's kind of crazy to look back at that and think about that question, because both of us in that room thought differently than we do now, obviously.
Have you heard from them since?
Yeah, actually, once I signed with the Vikings, they reached out and said, hey, like if things don't work out, or when you're done playing, like reach out to us. You have a job here.
Oh, so you got one lined up already now.
That's
when
right.
This is done.
Yeah.
You're all set.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good to go.
Give me a scouting report of your game in high school.
Really just throw the ball up and I was going to go get it. That's really all I did. I didn't really run routes. I just kind of ran straight and the quarterback threw it up and I went and got it. And that's pretty much all I did. We were mostly a running team, so it was pretty much run the ball until we get to the 10, 15-yard line and then throw it up and hope I come down with a touchdown. It was, like I said, I didn't really run routes. I just kind of tried to catch the football when we had the opportunity. Very few opportunities when you're a running football team.
How close did you come to not playing football in college?
Pretty close. I honestly, whatever season I was in, whether it was baseball, golf, football, basketball, that was the sport I wanted to play in college. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play a sport in college, and whatever the best opportunity was for that, I was going to do.
And you didn't run track?
Didn't run track, no.
Did you not know you were fast?
I never was interested. I've always, since I was a little kid, I wanted to have a ball in my hand. And so, playing baseball and football and basketball, and then obviously playing golf, it just had kind of an objective, and I'm so competitive that I kind of needed that. So I never really gave track a chance.
When did you run your first 40?
My first 40 I ran at a college recruiting day at University of North Dakota. It was probably going into my senior year was the first time I ran a 40.
What'd you run?
I don't even know. They didn't even tell me. And I didn't hear back from them again, so it couldn't have been good.
Couldn't have been that good. But then later on, when you're working out and you're trying to break into the pros, you run the 40 again. Your time was in the 4.4 range? 4.45?
Yeah, so
Were you surprised?
I wasn't necessarily surprised. I was more excited because I knew that was the one thing that I needed to prove to have an opportunity in the NFL. I knew that I could run routes. I knew that I could catch the football. I just needed to prove, because I'd never had ran a 40. Since that day, I even in college never ran a 40. We ran 20s, things like that. And so that was really my only opportunity to show, hey, I am fast. And I knew I was fast, but I never really had an opportunity to prove it. So when I saw that number, when I came home, looked at my computer, and saw that I ran a 4.45, I was pretty pumped, because I knew that was kind of my opportunity.
Okay, so you're a Minnesota guy. You have ice fished, not necessarily your thing. Did you play hockey at any point?
Yeah, never played organized hockey, but I was on the pond when I was 4 or 5 years old, skating and playing with the older kids. So I still play to this day. Just go out there and skate around and try to shoot around a little bit.
You ever curl?
I have, yeah. We actually had curling in gym class.
What?
Yeah, we'd take buses from the school and go to the curling rink, and we'd curl. So I have curled.
How's your game?
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad, yeah.
You know what? Give me an example now, because I think the common perception is that how hard could this be? I could go out there and do this. How hard is curling?
It's really difficult. I mean, it's difficult to have the right touch and to put the right spin, and then obviously having the strategy of the game too. There's a lot of strategy that goes with the game and trying to block shots and things like that. So it's tough. It's just tough to get that touch and the right speed, and and then obviously having to knowing when to sweep and when not to. There's a lot that goes into it.
All right, your guy grew up playing all different sports. If you could take one athlete from any other sport and put him on a football team and play him at any position, who would you take?
Probably LeBron. Yeah, because he's so big and fast and quick and obviously explosive. So I think he'd be a pretty good tight end in the NFL.
Is there one wide receiver who you would pay money to watch?
I mean, obviously, I grew up, watching Randy Moss and Cris Carter. Those are the guys that made me want to play the game of football. So, I did pay money to watch them. I went to games when I was a kid, and they were electric. I mean, they were unbelievable to watch, and just some of the things that Randy Moss was able to do, and the catches Cris Carter had on the sidelines. It was those guys. I was lucky to grow up watching those guys.
Anytime, either past or now, a corner that you'd like to go against, that you'd like to test yourself against?
I mean, obviously Dion. I think it'd be kind of sweet to go against him. I think in this game, when you're a competitor, you want to go against the best, and you want to play against the best week in and week out. And so I think that's one of the fun things. It's a challenge, obviously, in the NFL when there's so many good players and so many good corners out there. And every week you kind of have a challenge, but I think that's what's as a competitor, that's what you want. You want to go against the best.
Okay, you're lined up against Dion. What's the game plan for you?
I don't know. I'd have to watch a little tape first, but I'd probably just attack him. I think some of the best corners, people are afraid, and they think that they're kind of maybe behind the eight ball already because this guy's so good. But I think one thing that I try to do and try to tell myself is just attack and let it play out. If you get beat, so be it. At least you're going all out and doing everything you can to try to win.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.